Hello YNABers, my name is Jesse Meekum from YNAB. It stands for You Need a Budget. This is another Whiteboard Wednesday. Today I want to talk about kind of the different personalities that we may have when we're budgeting. We're all budgeters, we're all in this together, but there are different approaches. Some are certainly unique, but what we'll find is that there may be the best approach to be somewhere in the middle. We have a few different personalities. And the first one is who we call Detailed Dan. And this person just gets obsessed with the details. If they're doing their reconciliation and they're off by a few pennies, they're going to spend a long time trying to find that difference instead of just maybe making an adjustment transaction and moving on. They're very, very detail oriented. You'll see them with lots of categories. We tell them to try and avoid the toothpaste category. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but they kind of feel a lot of power in those details. The pro is that you get a lot of information, and with a lot of information you can potentially make a lot of, or you can potentially use that lot of information to make good decisions. Flip side is too much information might mean that you're not using it at all, that you're feeling overwhelmed, or that you get so caught up in the maintenance of these details that you kind of lose steam. So that's Detailed Dan. Beware, that may be you, and just kind of check yourself. We have Changing Charles. Charles is the kind that has like 1,000 hidden categories. Charles probably has fresh started way more than average. We actually promote the fresh start because you learn as you go. You figure out your own tendencies, you figure out your own personality. Your personality starts to kind of evolve, and you get into a sweet spot. So you do some fresh starts to get there. But Charles does fresh starts not because he's necessarily learning a better way of budgeting, but because he keeps changing what he's going for. The pro on that is that perhaps Charles is being very thoughtful. Perhaps Charles is being very introspective and is asking himself, what is most important to me? What should my money be doing? Con to that, another view, perhaps through a little more of a pessimistic lens, is that Charles hasn't yet really done the work to properly prioritize. And so the changes you see Charles making are really just kind of changes with the weather, changes with the wind, changes on a whim. And Charles sees these new goggles you're supposed to wear that attach to this new phone that Google comes out with, and suddenly that's Charles' big priority. Or Charles perhaps sees some other new gadget and that's now the big priority, or who knows. But Charles changes a lot. It can be good if you're being truly introspective. It can be bad if you just are using that as a way to kind of avoid actually choosing what is most important. And I say choosing, it really better put is probably finding out what's most important to you. You have Orville, the overcomplicator. This one's my favorite because you don't get to use the name Orville very often, just with popcorn. So Orville, the overcomplicator, has just made a system involving usually a lot of accounts, sometimes a lot of details. Sometimes these two are kind of a little bit of close cousins, you might say, but Orville just likes things to be a little more complicated than we at YNAB might promote. The pro is perhaps Orville's really on top of things. Orville feels that this is his system and it's working for him and it's custom just for him, and while a layman or an outsider wouldn't understand what Orville's machinations are with his own system, he gets it and perhaps he finds it a little empowering. The flip side to Orville's overcomplicated system is that it can be tough to maintain. It can be a little bit of a drag. You have the law of diminishing returns, where his incremental unit of effort is delivering an ever smaller unit of actual benefit. Something to be aware of. I just realized, and kind of looking at this, I probably shouldn't use neon green as a marker anymore, but this down here is our last one. This is Goldilocks. Perhaps it's just that balance of changing when real change needs to happen, making sure that the system is your own, that it has addressed all of your needs, and being detail-oriented enough to be able to make solid budgeting decisions. Which personality are you? Share in the comments and do so with pride. I will see you guys next week.